Hey there, welcome back to Summer Sunrise on a snowy Thursday morning. I'm here with Amy Brewer. 4 inches of snow today.
Yay,
Yeah.
I think I'm taking some time out of the office.
Are you really?
I think so.
Well, you're the boss. You can do so. And let's talk a little bit. Obviously your modality, your expertise. We're talking about workman's comp, social security claims, as well as personal injury. And we've been kind of creating all these scenarios. I say, okay, so my boss told me to park here. I'm walking to work. I fall down, break my leg. Am I covered? We're sitting in the green room and Dave spilled coffee on me. Are we covered? I'm going to a job site and I slip on the job site. Am I covered? And and that's your specialty. But I guess what I got out of the conversation, there's a lot of variances, a lot of kind of nuances that sometimes you are covered and sometimes you're not. But how do you know for sure if you are covered on the job for a particular circumstance that injures you?
You come and see me.
There you go. I hope you're going to give me that answer.
Right. I do give a free consultation. And let me give you an example. Let's say an employee is required to park in a specific parking spot. If that person is walking from their car in the specific parking spot into the office, slip and fall and break their leg, that would be covered. But let's say they're just instructed not to park on the employer property, that they can, because there's not enough parking spots, that they can park anywhere else they want, that may not be covered. So many things are very fact dependent that it's worth coming in and sitting down and talking and figuring out if you have a case.
You know, there was a case several years ago with a resort employee, not necessarily Vail, but a resort employee in the Rockies that was walking to work from the lot where he was told to park, broke his leg, and he couldn't work because of that. Because he was a ski instructor. And there was a fight. A fight ensued as far as if he was covered. Eventually, he was, but initially the resort said no.
Sure, any large employer or large insurance carrier, they love to try to say no and get you to go away. But generally speaking, that guy should have been covered right away. He was in a designated lot.
Right. You know what? Sometimes the insurance companies are pretty mean.
Yeah.
Because in the scenario when you are seeking coverage for whatever, if it's an injury, it's an illness, you're the most vulnerable, and just so much is going on in your life, and all you want to do is get on the road to recovery. And there's like these impediments along the way, and often those impediments are insurance companies. Absolutely,
and it'll even boil down to the specific adjuster on your claim. Some adjusters are very nice, they're thoughtful, they examine the claim. Some adjusters it seems like they have a chip on their shoulder or something and will just automatically say no.
Is there incentives for an adjuster or an insurance company to deny coverage, even if technically perhaps they are liable for the coverage?
Well, you're kind of walking into a bigger area there, because it could potentially be a bad faith claim if an insurance adjuster is given a raise for denying a claim. Yeah. So, because then the insurance carrier is in a sense rewarding its employee for doing something wrong and denying rights, or denying rights without actually examining the case. You don't really see that too much.
Yeah. Now, your specialty, as we talked about, is like workman's comp, but also Social Security claim. Give us a scenario about how something like that might play out.
Well, a Social Security claim can occur either from an injury or a type of disease. So let's say someone has a horrendous work-related accident. They're not able to work for the rest of their life. Then at the same time, they apply for Social Security disability. Alternatively, maybe you have somebody who is diagnosed with MS, right, and they can't work as a result of that. Their disease progresses and they can no longer work. They would also be eligible for Social Security if they worked enough quarters prior to becoming disabled.
Okay, now you could probably know by looking at me that my face is my livelihood. Now, if I am saddled with wrinkles, baggy eyes, or hair loss, is that covered under Social Security?
Probably not.
No,
and the other thing is you are entitled to disfigurement and workers' compensation.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding. Perfect.
So you may potentially have a disfigurement claim.
Now, would it be disfigurement? Would it be a natural disfigurement just as age and gravity, or would it have to be something, an outside source?
It would have to be an outside source.
Okay.
Well, here's another scenario. Yeah. What if, because you're in the sun all the time, doing TV, you develop these horrendous wrinkles?
Yeah. because Erin makes me stand out here in the cold to get what's that, chilblains?
Or frostbite. You know, you get a little frostbite on the end of your nose, right?
Yeah.
And you're scarred for life.
No kidding. That's what has kept me off CNN. Now, so we've talked about personal injuries. We've talked about workman's comp. No, we've talked about workman's comp. We talked about social security. Personal injuries.
Right. Personal injuries are a little bit different. The standard personal injury case is a motor vehicle accident case, just because there's so many of them. Motor vehicle accident cases are handled entirely differently than work comp. Work comp, automatically your medical bills, assuming it's a compensable claim, the insurance carrier pays your medical bills, your lost time, and at the end they pay for permanent partial disability, which is essentially bodily injury. Motor vehicle accidents don't work the same way. Your own personal health insurance covers your medical bills, and then at the end of the case, you have to sue. If you don't settle with the carrier for the driver at fault, you have to sue the driver at fault to recover.
You know, all that stuff is just incredibly confusing for someone that barely got out of high school. And that's where I think, and even someone that has gone on to other things, but their specialty is not law. That's where I think going to a professional, especially with a free consultation, there's nothing they have to lose to check with you.
No, absolutely not. That's why I offer a free consultation, because it's so much better to come in early and make sure that your case is on track. And if something is wrong, you can fix it right away. Unfortunately, sometimes people come in too late, especially in work comp where there's short deadlines, and there's nothing I can do because deadlines have passed.
And I think equally important, in order to get on, whether it's an injury or an illness, I'll tell you, and I know this is kind of a crunchy-feely assertion, but in order to get on the road to recovery, you've got to have that good karma, that positive thought, the positive vibes. And when you're being denied, when you're fighting with these people, it just kind of it just takes away from your chi and your yin and your yang. I'd just soon have you diminish your yin and your yang, and then I can cure myself.
Yeah, but I do get paid to diminish my yin and my
Exactly.
yang. So.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
But you work on a contingency so that it doesn't come out of the pocket of the person that's injured.
Well, it comes out of their pocket at the end of the case.
Right.
So they don't have to pay.
Right.
Right. So if somebody retains me, you don't have to pay when you first come into the office. You only have to pay at the end of the case when we have a settlement. Correct.
All righty. There you have it. Well, the number, the website's on the screen. Give us the website one more time.
It is amybrewerlaw.com.
Okay. I suggest, as your personal media advisor, you take the rest of the morning off and go skiing.
Great. Thanks.
All right. I'm glad I could help. We'll be back with more. You're watching Summer Sunrise on TV8 Summer. Don't go away.